Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Listen, let me tell you something real. Before you ever see a dollar with a bunch of zeros behind it, before you ever get that big check with your name on it, before you ever roll up in that dream car or sign papers for that house you always prayed about, you gotta have faith. Faith comes before fortune. That's just how God works. That's just how God works. God don't give out blessings just because you're asking for money. He gives out blessings when he sees you trust him enough to handle it. See, money ain't nothing but a tool, but faith is the foundation. If your faith is shaky, your fortune will crumble. Some of y'all praying for millions, but can't believe God for 100. You asking him for a mansion, but you complaining about the apartment you in right now. You want a luxury car, but you're mad every morning when you turn the key in that old hoopty and it takes 2 tries before the engine kicks in. Let me tell you something. If you can't thank him for that hoopty, if you can't shout for joy when you're still living in that 1 bedroom, why would God trust you with more? God is watching to see if you believe he can turn the little into a lot. Faith is the proof that you're ready. Now, don't get it twisted. Faith ain't just sitting there wishing on a star. Faith is believing so hard that you start moving like it's already done. You don't just pray for a new life and then keep living the same old one. No, you walk like you got it before you even see it. That's what faith looks like. When I was broke, I was still talking like I was going somewhere. I was telling jokes in little comedy clubs, making $50 a night. And I kept telling myself, Steve, one day, you gonna be on TV. One day they gonna pay you real money to make people laugh. I didn't have a dime to prove it, but I had faith, and that faith kept me grinding. See, fortune without faith will make you arrogant, but fortune with faith will make you grateful. A lot of people think money changes who you are, but the truth is money just exposes who you've been all along. If you greedy with a little, you gonna be greedy with a lot. If you careless when you broke, you gonna be careless when you're rich. That's why God says, let me see where your faith is, because faith humbles you. Faith makes you depend on him, not the dollar. I remember praying to God saying, Lord, if you just let me make it, I promise I'll tell everybody it was you. And he tested that. He gave me little wins, a TV spot here, a radio opportunity there, and I kept giving him the glory. That's what faith before fortune looks like. Some of y'all right now are in your testing season. God is watching how you handle that little paycheck, how you respond when things don't add up, how you react when the blessing seems delayed. Are you still believing, or are you complaining? Faith is also the ability to see what others can't. See, when you start telling people, God's gonna make me a millionaire, folks gonna laugh at you. They're gonna say, man, you crazy. You ain't even got no savings account. But that's okay, because faith ain't for them. Faith is between you and God. Let me tell you something. People laughed at Noah too, building that ark when it wasn't even raining. But when the flood came, guess who had the last laugh? That's the power of believing before you see. God don't need your bank account to bless you. He don't need your credit score. He don't need you to have it all figured out. He just needs you to trust him. That's why the Bible says faith without works is dead, because faith is active. You believe, then you move. You pray, then you grind. You trust, then you hustle. And when you keep moving on faith, God will open doors that money can't even buy. Let me break it down like this. Faith is the seed. Fortune is the harvest. You can't have the harvest before you plant the seed. If you're trying to get a crop without planting, you're going to stay hungry. Oprah started with talking. Tyler Perry started writing plays nobody showed up to. Michael Jordan started bouncing a ball. I started with jokes. Look at what God turned it into. Your gift might look small, but when God puts his hand on it, it becomes something the world can't ignore. And here's another truth. Your gift is connected to serving people. See, God ain't making you a millionaire just so you can stack money and flex. He's making you a millionaire because your gift is supposed to bless somebody else. When you cook, you feed people. When you sing, you inspire souls. When you invent, you solve problems. When you lead, you lift others. Every gift has a service attached to it. And when you serve people with excellence, God rewards you with increase. Millionaire status is the fruit of serving people faithfully with your gift. But you got to stop comparing your gift to somebody else's. That's where a lot of people mess up. You looking at what your neighbor doing, and you saying, well, my gift ain't like theirs. That don't matter. God didn't give you their gift, He gave you yours. Stop wishing for somebody else's lane. Stay in your lane. Your gift might not look like a millionaire maker right now, but trust me, when you master it, when you stay consistent, when you let God breathe on it, it'll make room for you. I'm telling you right now, the fastest way to become a millionaire is to stop chasing jobs and start chasing your gift. When you operate in your gift, the money comes to you. You ain't gotta beg nobody. You ain't gotta force it. You ain't gotta fake it. Opportunities will literally find you, because people are always drawn to excellence. And when you're in your gift, you're excellent naturally. So hear me good. God is making you a millionaire, not because of what you went to school for, not because of who you know, not because of how smart you think you are, but because He planted a gift in you that was designed to prosper. All you gotta do is stop ignoring it, stop doubting it, and start working it. Your gift will do the heavy lifting. You just gotta believe in it enough to use it. I promise you, the day you stop chasing money and start chasing your gift is the day everything shifts. That's when doors open, that's when favor shows up, that's when blessings overflow. God's system is simple. Your faith unlocks the promise, and your gift delivers the fortune. Let me tell you something that most people don't get. Gratitude is the beginning of abundance. If you can't be grateful for the little, God sure ain't gonna trust you with the lot. You want Him to drop $1 million on you, but you ain't even said thank you for waking up this morning. See, you think millionaire status starts with money. No, it starts with your mindset. And that mindset begins with gratitude. I know people who are walking around with so much bitterness in their heart, mad every day because they don't have what somebody else has. They sitting there scrolling on Instagram, jealous of somebody's car, somebody's house, somebody's vacation, somebody's outfit, and all the while they overlooking the blessings in their own. You got food in the fridge, you got a roof over your head, you got breath in your body. That's already wealth. See, if you ain't grateful for what you already got, God ain't about to give you no more. Why? Because you don't appreciate it. Gratitude is a magnet for blessings. Every time you thank God for what you got, He lines up something else for you. You ever notice how when you give somebody something and they genuinely appreciate it, it makes you want to give them more? That's how God operates. But if you give somebody something and they complain, or they act like it ain't enough, you don't feel like blessing them again. Same with God. Some of y'all keep blocking your millionaire breakthrough because you're too busy complaining instead of praising. Some of y'all think prayer means sitting back, crossing your fingers, and waiting on God to drop a bag of money on your doorstep like FedEx. Nah, man, prayer don't work like that. See, prayer is asking, but hard work is the proof that you believe what you ask for is on the way. Hard work is prayer in motion. It's how you show God you're serious. You can't just sit around saying, "Oh Lord, make me a millionaire," while you laying on the couch watching TV all day, eating chips and scrolling your phone. God don't bless lazy. He blesses effort. Faith without works is dead. And some of y'all killing your own prayers because you won't put no work behind them. Let me tell you something. When I was chasing my dream of being a comedian, I prayed every night, "Oh Lord, if you just let me make it, I'll tell the whole world it was you." But I didn't stop at the prayer. I didn't stop at the prayer. I was on that grind, driving city to city in a beat-up car, telling jokes for free sometimes, just to get stage time. I worked odd jobs during the day, and I hit the stage at night. I was tired, I was broke, but I was moving. And every time I put in work, God met me halfway. That's how prayer works. You do your part, He does His. See, prayer without work is just words. But when you mix prayer with hustle, that's when it becomes powerful. You praying for a job? Fill out applications. You praying for a business? Start sketching out the plan even if it's on a napkin. You praying for a house? Go drive through neighborhoods and look at homes. Act like you belong there. God responds to motion. He looks down and says, "Oh, look at my child moving like the blessing already done. Let me meet them with favor." Hard work is proof of faith. Think about it. If you really believe God is going to bless you, then you'll prepare for it. If you don't prepare, it means you don't really believe. You say, "I want to be a millionaire," but you don't even manage the little money you got right now. That's not faith in motion, that's wishful thinking. Hard work is how you tell God, "I'm ready." Now don't get me wrong. Hard work by itself don't guarantee millionaire status. There are people grinding every day and still struggling because they left God out of it. But when you combine faith, prayer, and hard work, you become unstoppable. Hard work positions you, prayer empowers you, and faith carries you. That's the millionaire formula right there. Let me hit you with some straight talk. The road to millions ain't easy. It's long nights, early mornings, sacrifices, and setbacks. It's failing sometimes, but showing up again the next day. It's people laughing at you, doubting you, telling you you can't make it. And while all that's happening, you're still working. That's prayer in motion. Every time you keep going when it don't make sense, you're showing God that you trust Him. I remember sleeping in my car for 3 years. You think I wanted to keep pushing jokes when I was washing up in public bathrooms? No, but I knew the gift God gave me wasn't random, so I kept grinding. Every night I was on that stage was me saying, God, I believe you. And you know what? He opened the door. One phone call from the Apollo changed my life forever. But if I hadn't been working, I wouldn't have been ready for that call. See, hard work makes you ready. Millionaires don't just stumble into money. They're prepared for it. The work builds your character. The work teaches you discipline. The work humbles you. The work grows you into the person who can handle the blessing. Without the work, you'd blow the blessing when it comes. That's why God don't hand out millions to people who ain't moving. He needs to see you putting in effort so He can trust you with abundance. And let me add this. Hard work is also worship. When you give your best effort, you're honoring the gift God gave you. If you sing, rehearse. If you cook, practice. If you run a business, sharpen your skills. When you do that, you're saying, Oh Lord, I respect what you gave me, and I'm going to use it well. God loves that. That's why He multiplies the work of diligent hands. Here's the truth. Prayer gets the vision started, but hard work brings the vision to life. Boom. You can pray for a garden, but if you never plant seeds, water them, and pull weeds, you ain't going to eat nothing. Same with money. You pray for wealth, then you plant your seeds of effort, water it with consistency, and pull the weeds of doubt. That's how you reap the harvest. So don't ever separate prayer from work. They go together. One is talking to God, the other is walking it out. If you can marry the two, I promise you, you're setting yourself up for millionaire blessings. Because God is not looking for lazy dreamers, He's looking for faithful workers. And when He finds one, He'll take them from nothing to millionaire level so fast it'll make people's heads spin. So next time you pray, don't just say the words. Get up and do something. Move your feet. Start the plan. Make the call. Take the step. Show God your prayer in motion. That's how you prove you're ready for the fortune He's about to drop on you. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Blessings don't come just from what you want. They come from obedience. You can pray all day. You can hustle all night. But if you ain't listening to God and doing what He told you to do, you're going to miss the opportunity that was designed to make you a millionaire. Obedience is the key that unlocks doors hard work alone can't open. See, God will tell you to do things that don't make sense to you at the time. He'll say, a move here. And you're like, but Lord, I don't know nobody over there. He'll say, quit that job. And you're like, oh, wait a minute now. This is my only paycheck. He'll say, start that business. And you're thinking, but I don't have the money for that. That's where obedience comes in. Because obedience ain't about comfort, it's about trust. When you obey God's instruction, even when it don't add up, that's when He shows up. Let me give you an example from my life. Years ago, when I was broke and grinding as a comedian, I got a call one night from the Apollo Theater in New York. They said, Steve, we want you to come perform. Now, at that moment, I didn't even have the money for the plane ticket. I didn't have a place to stay in New York. Logic said, man, you can't go. But in my spirit, God said to go. So I obeyed. I scraped up what I could, borrowed a little gas money, and got myself to that stage. That one night of obedience changed my life forever. From there, doors started flying open. See, obedience unlocked an opportunity my bank account couldn't afford. A lot of folks miss millionaire blessings because they argue with God instead of obeying Him. He tells you to leave that toxic relationship, but you stay. He tells you to save and spend, but you keep shopping. He tells you to start using your gift, but you keep hiding it. And then you wonder why the opportunities ain't showing up. Listen, delayed obedience is disobedience. The longer you take to follow God's instructions, the longer your breakthrough gets delayed. Now let me tell you something else. Obedience usually comes with a test. God will ask you to do something small before he trusts you with something big. He might say, give this person $20, and you're thinking, oh Lord, that's all I got. But when you obey, he sees he can trust you. And then he'll put bigger opportunities in your path. Millionaire status don't fall out the sky. It comes from a series of obedient steps. Every little yes you say to God lines you up for a bigger door. Here's where it gets real. Obedience ain't about logic, it's about faith. Sometimes God will tell you to step out with nothing but a word, and everybody around you will think you're crazy. But obedience separates the blessed from the stuck. Noah looked crazy building an ark when it wasn't even raining. Abraham looked crazy leaving his home to go to a land he didn't know. Moses looked crazy stretching a stick over the Red Sea. Obedience is what turned them into history makers. And I promise you, obedience is what turns regular folks into millionaires. Obedience also requires humility. You can't obey God if you think you're smarter than him. Some of y'all out here trying to negotiate with God. Lord, if you bless me first, then I'll do what you said. That ain't how it works. You move first, then the blessing comes. Obedience is trust in action. It's you saying, God, I don't see it yet, but I'll do it because you said it. That kind of faith gets rewarded every time. Now let me give you the flip side. Disobedience will cost you opportunities. God might line up a blessing for you, but if you ignore his instructions, you can literally miss your millionaire season. You're praying for doors to open, but God already told you the key. And sometimes you don't even realize how close you were, but one act of disobedience set you back. That's why it's so important to listen and move quickly when God speaks. Here's something else you need to know. Obedience don't always feel good, but it always leads to good. Cool. Sometimes obedience means cutting off people you love, walking away from comfort zones, or stepping into something you're scared of. But on the other side of obedience is always a blessing. Every time I've obeyed God, even when I didn't understand, it's opened up opportunities that changed my life. Every single time. So here's the truth. Millionaire opportunities are attached to obedience. God is making you a millionaire, but he's testing if he can trust you first. Can he trust you to give when he says give? Can he trust you to move when he says move? Can he trust you to use your gift when he tells you to? If the answer is yes, then get ready, because your obedience is about to unlock opportunities you didn't even know existed. Listen, obedience is the key that fits the lock on doors you can't open by yourself. Stop trying to figure it all out. Stop trying to make sense of it. Just obey. God's way is higher than your way. And when you move in obedience, he'll move mountains out of your way. He'll line up the right people, the right resources, the right timing. That's how millionaire blessings show up, on the other side of obedience. Here's something you got to get straight right now. Money by itself ain't the goal. Don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be rich. Ain't nothing wrong with dreaming about the cars, the houses, the trips, all that. I got all that, and I enjoy it. But let me tell you something. If all you're chasing is profit, you're gonna come up empty every time. God don't make you a millionaire just so you can stack money. He makes you a millionaire because he's attached your money to your purpose. Purpose is the reason you're here. Purpose is why you woke up this morning. Purpose is what makes you necessary on this earth. And when God blesses you with millions, it ain't just for you to floss on Instagram or ride around in a Bentley. It's so you can fund the purpose he gave you. Money without purpose is meaningless. Purpose gives your profit direction. See, when you live your life chasing only money, you end up doing things that don't fulfill you. That's why so many people are miserable in high-paying jobs. They're making six figures, but they hate waking up in the morning. Why? Because they're chasing profit without purpose. But when you live in your purpose, the money is just fuel for the vision. It gives you joy. It gives you peace. It gives you a reason to keep going even when it gets tough. When I started in comedy, I wasn't chasing the money. 'Cause truth be told, at first, there wasn't no money. I was getting $50, sometimes nothing but chicken wings and gas money. But I kept doing it because making people laugh was my purpose. That was my gift from God. And my purpose was to use it to bring joy to people. And guess what? Because I chased purpose instead of chasing profit, the profit eventually came. Not just a little, but millions. That's how God works. When you put purpose first, He'll send the money to back it up. Now let me tell you the difference between profit chasers and purpose chasers. Profit chasers will do anything just for $1. They'll cut corners. They'll sell out. They'll hurt people. They'll compromise everything they stand for just to get paid. But purpose chasers, they stay true to who they are. They walk in integrity. They build something that lasts. And because of that, their money sticks. Profit without purpose will fade. But profit built on purpose will multiply. God knows who He can trust with millions. That's why He don't give everybody that kind of money. Some people would lose their mind if they got it. They'd spend it all on themselves, waste it, blow it, and never impact nobody. But if God sees that your heart is aligned with your purpose, that you want the money so you can help, so you can serve, so you can build, then He'll release it to you. Because He knows it ain't gonna stop with you. It's gonna flow through you. That's what purpose does. It makes you a river, not a reservoir. Profit chasers just want to collect and hold on. Purpose chasers let it flow into their families, their communities, into people who need opportunities. God blesses you to be a blessing. And when you understand that, He'll keep the blessings coming because He knows you ain't just gonna hoard it. Let me give you some straight talk. You can have millions and still be broke if you don't have purpose. How? Because you'll never feel full. You'll always be chasing something else to fill the hole inside. You'll buy the car, and 3 months later, you're bored with it. You'll buy the house, and 6 months later, it don't feel like enough. That's what happens when you live profit first. But when you live purpose first, you can find joy in the simple things. And when the millions come, it just adds fuel to your mission. Let me break it down like this. Profit is what you earn, but purpose is what you're called to. Profit fills your pocket, but purpose fills your soul. Profit can fade, but purpose lasts forever. That's why God is making you a millionaire. Not just so you can flex, but so you can fulfill your purpose at a higher level. Money is just a tool to get it done. Look at Oprah. Her purpose is to inspire and connect people. The profit came because she lived in her purpose. Look at Tyler Perry. His purpose is storytelling that uplifts people. The profit came because he stayed true to that. Same with me. I use laughter, motivation, and storytelling to inspire folks. That's my purpose. The millions just showed up as the fuel for it. So here's the question. What's your purpose? What did God put you here to do? Because when you figure that out and start living it, the profit gonna follow. Don't flip it the other way around. Don't chase money hoping it'll give you purpose. It won't. But if you chase your purpose, you'll never lack profit. So remember this, God is making you a millionaire not for your ego, but for your assignment. The money is not the mission is the mission. And when you put purpose over profit, you not only get the wealth, you get the fulfillment that comes with it. And that's a millionaire mindset money can't buy. Let me tell you something right now. Everybody wants the testimony, but nobody wants the test. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to go through the season of being broke, overlooked, or struggling. But that's how God works. Before He gives you the testimony, He puts you through the test. And those tests ain't punishment. They're preparation. They're preparation. See, a lot of folks think when they're going through hard times, it means God forgot about them. Nah, man. If you're being tested, it means God is getting you ready for something big. You don't get a degree without taking exams. You don't level up in life without being tested. And if God is making you a millionaire, don't think you're going to skip the tests. Nah, you're going to go through seasons that stretch you, break you down, and rebuild you stronger. That's how He makes sure you can handle what's coming. When I was living in my car for 3 years, broke and struggling, that was my test. You think I enjoyed waking up every morning in the backseat of a busted car, washing up in public bathrooms, eating whatever I could scrape together? No. But God was testing me, testing my faith, testing my persistence, testing whether I'd quit or keep pushing. And I'll be real with you. I almost quit plenty of times. I almost gave up on comedy, almost gave up on the dream. But every time I wanted to quit, God gave me just enough strength to keep going. And when the breakthrough finally came, I had a testimony so powerful it still inspires people today. That's what tests do. They give weight to your testimony. If everything came easy, your story wouldn't have power. Nobody wants to hear about a person who had everything handed to them. But when you can stand up and say, I was broke, I was homeless, I was doubted, I was laughed at, but God brought me out. Now that's a testimony that moves people. That's a testimony that shows God's glory. See, your test ain't just for you. It's for the people who go and hear your story later. Somebody out there is going to need to know that you survived what they're going through. Your millionaire testimony will pull somebody else out of depression, out of quitting, out of hopelessness. That's why God lets you go through it. So when He blesses you, your story becomes a lifeline for somebody else. But here's the key. How you respond to the test determines how long you stay in it. If you spend the whole test complaining, doubting, and giving up, you gon' circle that mountain longer than you have to. But if you face that test with faith, with gratitude, with persistence, God will move you through it fast. Every test is a classroom, and until you learn the lesson, you can't graduate. That's why some folks are stuck in the same struggle year after year. They keep failing the test. Now, let me break this down. Tests come in different forms. Sometimes it's financial, not having enough, learning how to budget, learning how to trust God when the bills pile up. Sometimes it's relational, losing people, getting betrayed, learning how to depend on God and not man. Sometimes it's emotional, battling fear, doubt, anxiety, learning how to walk by faith and not by sight. Every test has a purpose, and when you pass it, you gain strength, wisdom, and character. That's what qualifies you for the testimony. Here's the truth. Millionaire blessings require millionaire-level character. If God gave you millions before you went through the test, you'd blow it. You'd mismanage it, misuse it, and it would destroy you instead of bless you. But the test humbles you. The test teaches you discipline. The test makes you appreciate the blessing when it comes. That's why you can't skip it. Think about it. Diamonds don't get formed without pressure. Gold don't get pure without fire. And millionaires don't get made without tests. That's how God molds you. Pressure, fire, struggle, all of it is shaping you for the testimony. So don't despise the test. Don't think it means God forgot about you. If you're in the test, it means God is preparing your stage. He's setting you up for a testimony so big that people gon' know it had to be Him. And when you come out the other side, oh man, that testimony gonna be your proof. Proof that faith works, proof that obedience pays off, proof that gratitude matters, proof that hard work is worth it, proof that God can take somebody from nothing and make them a millionaire. And once you got that testimony, nobody can take it from you. They can doubt your words, but they can't deny your story. So here's the mindset you gotta have. When you're being tested, don't quit. Don't fold. Don't let the pain make you stop. Instead, look at it and say, okay, God, I see what you're doing. You're preparing me for the next level. This ain't the end. This is training. Because once you pass that test, the testimony gonna be so powerful, it'll not only bless you, it'll bless everybody who hears it. That's why I say, test before testimony. You can't skip it. You gotta go through it. But when you come out, you're gonna shine like never before. And that testimony, that's what proves God is making you a millionaire. Now let me tell you something. If you think God is making you a millionaire just so you can ride around in a Bentley with designer suits and stack up money in your bank account, you got it twisted. See, God don't bless you just for you. He blesses you so you can be a blessing. That's why He gives you overflow. Not enough, not just enough, but more than enough. Because that amore ain't about you. That amore is about somebody else. See, the world teaches you, get rich, buy everything, live for yourself. But God's kingdom works different. When God makes you a millionaire, He expects you to reach back and pull somebody else up. He expects you to feed folks who are hungry, help folks who are struggling, give opportunities to people who never had one. That's why He's making you rich, so your life can be proof of His generosity. Now hear me clearly. Ain't nothing wrong with enjoying the blessing. Drive your nice car. Live in your dream house. Take that vacation. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But don't you ever forget the reason God gave you overflow. See, when you hoard it, it dries up. But when you share it, it multiplies. That's the law of God. Let me break it down with a real-life example. I remember when I first started getting money from comedy. Man, I was so excited. I bought me some suits, bought me a car, got me a place. But after a while, God started pressing on my heart. Steve, this ain't just for you. You've been praying for overflow, but that overflow is so you can pour into others. That's when I started helping my family, blessing strangers, giving opportunities to young comics. And let me tell you, every time I gave, God doubled it back. Because he knew he could trust me with overflow. That's the real key. Can God trust you with overflow? Or are you just going to keep it to yourself? See, a millionaire with no generosity is just a rich fool. But a millionaire who shares, who uplifts, who gives, now that's a kingdom millionaire. That's somebody God can keep blessing, because he knows it won't stop with them. Look at it like this. If you got a glass and God pours water into it, that's your blessing. But if he keeps pouring, the water spills over. That's your overflow. Now, the overflow don't belong to you. You can only drink what's in your cup. The overflow is for everybody around you. That's why God makes it spill out, so you can touch other people's lives. And I'm telling you, the joy of giving is greater than the joy of buying. Don't get me wrong, that new car feels good. That big house feels good, but when you hand somebody a blessing, that changes their whole life. When you pay somebody's tuition, when you put food on somebody's table, when you create a job for somebody who couldn't find one, man, that joy is unmatched. That's when you really feel the purpose of being a millionaire. Here's the truth. Selfish money don't last, but kingdom money multiplies. God is making you a millionaire because he wants you to be a distributor of blessings. You're not just a receiver. You're a channel. You're the pipeline he uses to get resources to people who need it. And the bigger your pipeline, the more he pours through you. That's why generous millionaires stay blessed. But let me warn you, the enemy will always try to make you selfish. He'll whisper, "You earned this. You worked for this. Don't give it away." And yeah, you did work. You did work. You did hustle. But who gave you the gift? Who gave you the opportunities? Who opened the doors? That was God. And if God gave it, then you gotta handle it his way. And his way is generosity. Don't ever underestimate what your giving can do. Your generosity might keep somebody from quitting. It might send somebody to school. It might feed a family. It might inspire somebody to believe in God again. See, money is temporary, but the impact you make with it lasts forever. That's why God gives you overflow, to create legacies, to change lives, to show his love through your hand. So here's what I'm telling you. When God makes you a millionaire, enjoy it, yes. But don't just enjoy it, employ it. Put that money to work blessing people. Because when you bless others, God blesses you more. When you pour out, God pours back in. That's the cycle of generosity. And that's why God is making you a millionaire, so your overflow can overflow into others. And let me close it with this. If you want to keep receiving, you got to keep giving. If you want to stay in overflow, don't block the flow. Be the millionaire that people thank God for, not just the one they envy. That way, when it's all said and done, people won't just remember your money. They'll remember your generosity. They'll say, that person was rich. But more than that, they were a blessing. And that, my friends, is the real reason God is making you a millionaire.